Comments for the week ending March 5th from the beef farmers of Ontario. There were 473 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction markets last week, down 8 head from the previous week. Fed steers averaged $314.91 per hundredweight, down $307 per hundred, and fed heifers averaged $308.37 per hundredweight, down $11.50 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported on Tuesday that fed steers and heifers sold under pressure. By Thursday, fed steers and heifers sold at steady prices. In Ontario, dress sales were reported at $5.35 per hundredweight delivered, steady with the previous week. Cattle that traded were being scheduled for the week of March 16th delivery. For the week ending February 21st, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports to the U.S. were 4,345 head, 4% below last year and 35% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports were up 6% from last year. Cull cow receipts sold through auction markets last week were 2,044 head, down 208 head from the previous week. Cows averaged $177.65 per hundredweight, down $173 per hundred. Beef cows averaged $194.87 per hundredweight, down 98 cents per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported the fed cow sold at steady prices. Total receipts were 7,186 head last week, with receipts of 2,878 stock and feeder cattle selling through Ontario auction markets, down 970 head from the previous week. Auction markets reported on Friday, February 27th, the calves and yearlings sold steady. By Thursday, all classes of stockers sold stronger, with good heifers bringing premiums. The Quebec electronic market prices were not available at press time. Last week, Alberta fed prices averaged on either side of $3.20 per hundredweight, a new record high. Dressed sales were reported from $5.30 to $5.35 per hundredweight, $5 per hundredweight stronger. Cattle that traded were scheduled anywhere from immediate to mid-March delivery. U.S. packer interest was supportive, and light volumes of Western Canadian fed cattle were marketed south. Sales to the U.S. were in the low 320s per hundredweight, FOB the feedlot. By Thursday, March 5th, light trade developed, with dress sales reported from $5.35 to $5.39 per hundredweight delivered, $4 to $5 per hundredweight stronger than the previous week. For the week ending February 28th, Western Canadian fed processing was 35,167 head. Year-to-date processing is 5.7% higher than last year. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw most of the trade take place on Friday. Dressed sales in Iowa and Nebraska were at $3.80 per hundredweight, $2 to $3 per hundredweight lower than the previous week. Live sales in the northern feeding states were at $2.40 per hundredweight, $8 to $4 per hundredweight lower. Sales in Texas and Kansas were also at $2.40 per hundredweight, $4 to $5 per hundredweight softer. According to a couple of media sources, union members at the JBS Greeley, Colorado packing plant could strike on March 16th. Today, feeder cattle contracts are locked limit down, while live cattle contracts are not too far off limit down. Even though no Canadian fed cattle are shipped directly to Greeley for processing, this could still have an impact on the Canadian market. This is Jamie Kerr with the Beef Farmers of Ontario Market Information Report.